What family secret was finally spilled in your family? When I was 14, I was helping my grandma clean out her garage after my grandpa had a stroke. He was still alive, but couldn't move around much anymore. While digging through old boxes, I found this tiny velvet ring box shoved way back behind paint cans. Inside was this beautiful gold ring with a small diamond. It wasn't like grandma's wedding ring at all. This one was smaller, more delicate. There was a folded piece of paper taped inside the lid that said, "Return to Martha if found," in my grandpa's handwriting. I asked grandma who Martha was. She just stared at the ring for like 10 seconds, then said she had no idea. But something about the way she said it felt off. Like when your mom says she's not mad, but you know she totally is. That night at dinner, I asked Grandpa about it. The fork literally froze halfway to his mouth. He set it down and got this weird look on his face. Grandma was washing dishes really loudly in the kitchen, clanging everything around. "Where did you find that?" he asked in this quiet voice. I told him about the garage, and he just nodded slowly. Then he asked me to put the ring back where I found it and not mention it again. But I was 14 and nosy as hell, so obviously I wasn't gonna let it go. Over the next few weeks, I kept bugging him about it. Finally, one afternoon when Grandma was at her book club, he sat me down on the porch and told me everything. Martha was his first fiancée back in 1967, right before he got drafted for Vietnam. They were supposed to get married when he came back. He showed me this old photo of her. She was gorgeous, with long dark hair and this amazing smile. While he was overseas, they wrote letters constantly, every single week. But then suddenly, her letters stopped coming. The last one he got said she thought he was dead because his unit got hit hard, and she hadn't heard from him in a month. She said she was moving on and getting married to someone else. He was completely heartbroken. When he came home in 1969, he was a mess. That's when he met my grandma at a bus station. She was working there, and he was trying to figure out where to go next since his hometown felt too painful. They talked for hours that first day. She was kind and funny and didn't ask about the war. 6 months later, they were married. But here's the crazy part. In 1974, 5 years after he married Grandma, Martha tracked him down. She found out he wasn't actually dead and that she'd made a huge mistake. Her marriage had fallen apart, and she'd never stopped thinking about him. They met for coffee once, just once, at some diner 2 towns over. Nothing happened, he swore to me. They just talked and cried a lot. But before she left, she gave him back the engagement ring he'd given her before the war. She said she wanted him to keep it, just in case he ever changed his mind. He never told Grandma about the meeting. He said he loved her completely, but there was always this tiny part of him that wondered what his life would have been like with Martha. The ring was like this physical reminder of the path he didn't take. I sat there not knowing what to say. My grandpa, who I thought had this perfect love story with Grandma, had been keeping this secret for 30 years. A week later, I did something that probably sounds crazy. I looked up Martha online and found her address. She was living alone in Oregon, never remarried. I wrote her a letter explaining who I was and that I'd found the ring. I included a picture of it and asked if she wanted it back. 3 weeks later, I got a letter back from Martha. She said she cried when she saw the photo and that yes, she would love to have it back. She also included a picture of herself now, still beautiful, just older. I mailed her the ring without telling my grandparents, but Martha did something I wasn't expecting. She wrote another letter, this time addressed to my grandpa. She thanked him for keeping the ring safe all these years and said she finally had closure. She also said she was glad he'd found happiness with Grandma and had such a wonderful family. When that letter arrived, Grandma opened it first since Grandpa was napping. I watched her read it from the kitchen table. Her face went through like 5 different emotions. When Grandpa woke up, she handed him the letter without saying a word. He read it, looked at her, and just started crying. Not sad crying, but like relief crying. They talked for hours that night. I could hear them from upstairs. The next morning, Grandma made his favorite breakfast and they seemed closer than ever.